answer the first question on your mind, yes, this is a new setup. As you can see, we have done quite some renovation here on the Angry Foreigner channel. And I actually recorded the entire process, so here's a clip of that. Take a look. What the fuck? First, I'd like to start this video by apologizing for the very explainable absence. I've been doing some personal work in addition to renovating, and yes, I have lost weight. Obviously, I lost weight by months and months of heavy drinking. It's called the Angry Foreigner method. Look it up. It's just a matter of time before Oprah asks me to be on her show. Very scientific stuff. I will be making a video explaining that equation to you at some point. For now, I just want to assure you that I am ready. I am moist. I have decided I'm going to give this YouTube thing one last shot and be consistent with weekly uploads. Today we're going to be talking about a real wiener trap, and it's the fact that a third of women only date men because it's a free meal. She has no interest in you, it's what you can pay for. That fact alone means that the dating market automatically will jib you 1/3 of the time in your experience with it. And it's definitely something to look out for. Now we're gonna make it all make sense, but first, because I know what the average internet consumer operates like, because I know what the comment section is gonna be filled with, let me just correct you that, yes, I am fully aware of the stain on my shirt, okay? You nitpicky, limp dickety, pickety, picky piece of Oh, I'm aware. But given the average Swedish person's level of generosity, aka Swedengate, I'm not really collecting enough donations to afford clean shirts, now am I? No, let's keep this channel alive for much longer, so just feel grateful that I'm not showing you what my underwear looks like. You think these skid marks are annoying, Mr. OCD? Well, think again. I'm not gonna be respecting your spectrum, you rectum. Listen up and obey and pay attention to the things that matter. A study found that a third of heterosexual women have gone on a date with a guy they weren't interested in just for a free meal. A woman infatuated with the Sex and the City lifestyle told the New York Post, quote, "If I had been forced to pay, I probably wouldn't have been able to eat for weeks after." End of quote. Thus signifying the importance this has to many women's personal economy. You know, their female liberation and role as strong, independent women. So they actually made a special about this woman in a separate feature article. Miss Ballsinger. Look at how happy she is in that picture. Living it up. You see, she represents a significant part of our modern Western generation. The article describes a typical millennial, fresh out of college and eager to live the Sex and the City lifestyle as a strong, independent, educated, strong woman. Yet she becomes a damsel in distress when she can't afford going to the nicest restaurants on a regular basis since she has a normal job. And that is where the free dinners come in. Because in the modern West, it is considered a human right to live in the most obscenely over-socialized, overpriced inner cities, which usually looks like one of the more judgmental scenes out of the Bible. And I'm thinking Sodom and Gomorrah here. The article goes on to state, with the rise of dating apps, it's never been easier to order up a so-called foodie call. That's what they're calling this behavior. Calling food prostitution foodie call. No, it should be called escorting. According to millennial survey app Wink, 44% of young women have swiped right on a date because why not? It's a free meal, even if they weren't attracted to the person. So just a disclaimer for the sake of your worldview, dear viewer. The number of women who do this seems to vary in age and demographic. I can't help but to notice that these studies are centered around dating apps and larger cities. In other words, some of the most disgusting places you will ever visit as a human being. Absolutely not known as traditional. It should therefore come as no surprise that people who use Tinder are usually emotionally immature and have no self-control. See, that's not the only way to meet women. Rather, there's an over-representation of feminists on there who really just want to have sex like men. To have sex like a man and think it's cool to not have a conscience. But let's look at the consequences on thy fellow human. For singles stuck with the tab, the economic toll is considerable. On average, New Yorkers shell out $2,069 a year on dates. That's a very appropriate number right there. Gotta get to 69. Well, your wallet is sure getting 69 right there, buddy. And with climbing rents, an ever-expanding list of restaurants to try, New York might well be teeming with foodie calls. This one East Villager, Olivia Balsinger, was treated to a 5-course meal at the C&B Scene seafood joint Catch in the Meatpacking District. End of quote. Meatpacking, huh? Yeah, no, I bet there was a lot of meatpacking going on in that district on that particular evening. In the particular area where Miss Balsinger was present. And all the other scandalous Jezebels like her. So I need to make a quick confession. I really struggled with the title of this video you're watching right now for today's topic. Because, you know, the best kind of titles they're concise, but they're still kind of elaborate and they capture the essence of what you're going for. Because, you know, if you can flare it up a little bit, some colorful poetry really doesn't go unappreciated. And the essence of what we're talking about here really is pre-owned food pussy. That has to be the most disgusting sentence ever uttered. And yet there's no other way to summarize what we are dealing with here. It is an epidemic of pre-owned food pussy. There really is no other way to say it. But that wouldn't be appropriate for YouTube and their family-friendly, China-sponsored algorithms, so I decided to make the title of the video something clean instead. I hope you appreciate the effort I go through in my labor. Dwelling deeper into the motivation behind this phenomenon, the article goes on to say, foodie calls can happen when money's tight, when the grocery store is out of your favorite frozen meal, or a must-try entree is just too extravagant to justify when the tab comes out of your own bank account. So in other words, scientists have basically confirmed that Al Bundy was a prophet, providing accurate social commentary far ahead of his time. Who could have known?
Excuse me, but am I invisible?
Possibly from Pluto.
How dare you say that to my face?
Well, I'd say it behind your back, but my car's only got half a tank of gas.
I've just about had enough of you.
Well, you wouldn't say that if I came with fries and a medium drink.
More importantly, the researchers also noted that the women who felt dating for food is socially acceptable were also more likely to exhibit the dark triad of personality traits. That means psychopathy, Machiavellianism, and narcissism. In addition to egotism, with a side of truffled mashed potatoes to go, one of the researchers said that foodie callers are more likely to engage in one-night stands, faking an orgasm, or sending unsolicited sexual pictures. End of quote. So do consider those behaviors to be possible red flags. Now, I have acquired some footage documenting the human animal in its habitat, and we will be hearing from a representative of that third of women who have chosen to live as eat-squirts. Unfortunately, as the modern philosopher Ted Kaczynski predicted, technological development is making people so R-worded they're now comfortable broadcasting opinions like this.
Okay. Who should pay on the first date?
You. The guy.
Why?
Because you took me out and you're gonna pay. For the first one. You don't agree with that?
Okay, so what if you ask me out?
You should still pay. You should still pay.
And for that first date, do you think the men should always pay?
If it's whoever asked you out on the date.
And then women never ask out men on the first date, so men always pay.
Asked a guy out on a date.
Really?
Even if
I didn't pay though.
Yeah, even if I paid, I'm not gonna. Or I mean,
Yeah, I
even if I
guess,
asked,
right.
I'm not gonna pay.
I guess.
So I guess that's representing a third of the female dating population right there. How do we put together this complex equation here? You sound like a food prostitute, lady. I mean, sure, you might not be actively partaking in some matter of coitus, but you are certainly providing your time to these men in exchange for a meal, which is escorting, food escorting. So that's actually kind of grosser in a way, if you think about it, because it's closer to a homeless person than it is to a prostitute. So it's actually kind of filthier. Soup kitchen pussy? Is that the name of the statistical anomaly that men hitting the dating market have to watch out for here? It feels like an episode of Trailer Park Boys, and for absolutely no reason. It really doesn't have to be like this. Your country has no reason to be like this. Your home country isn't wretchedly poor beyond infrastructure like my home country is, where it can be enough with a passport to get laid. Just ask Bald and Bankrupt. So unless we're gonna argue that escorts aren't sex workers, then you are a food escort, and you're not doing it for free figures, you're doing it for free courses. Free course meals, that is. That's certainly explaining why a lot of men are checking out of dating, feeling used up by society, and certainly misunderstood and mistreated by feminism. Ironically though, the solution to this problem is to wear a shield of feminism with Zen-like, Buddha-inspired meta-awareness. Whenever you go on a date, just make her split the check on the grounds of equality and stay devoted to your argument that anything else would be sexism. That way, you can sniff out the soup kitchen snatches invading the dating market and avoid becoming a victim to the eat-scorting industry. Thank me when you're older, son. I guess you could say I made this humorous yet informative video for the sake of the public's good. Just a little warning to men to make them aware of the dangers, one of many, lurking out there. I might be a saint. Yes, I might. There's nothing wrong with being the traditional guy that pays for meals, but maybe that should happen when you actually get to know her, at least if you're sniffing out red flags before the date takes place. If she reacts badly to the idea of a split check, or even a prenup, well, that's just how you know that someone is over-expectational and not very polite, by the very least. I guess my point is that this is a very interesting effect of third-wave feminism and female liberation that we are seeing here. The Western world is the pinnacle of opportunity and prosperity, so you give people all the opportunities in the world, and this still happens. And it's just interesting when Western liberal individualism gets taken so far away from the family unit, that you've deduced the meaning of life to trading your pussy for a cheeseburger. And there really is no vision there of maybe one day having a family, is there? Because, I mean, technically, that would mean less cheeseburgers for you. And it's extra horrible when someone starts thinking that social media content accurately depicts what reality and mankind is like as a whole, instead of learning how to recognize the red flags and just avoid them. Then you'll be a lot happier and have a lot better experiences with people. But people aren't really experiencing people anymore. They're experiencing people through a screen. And that's not the same. That's a practical application of the medium being the message. When you are observing content on social media, be aware of something with a little bit of eyes beyond eyes. so to speak. Take it from personal experience. There is not a single content creator, no matter how many followers they have, there is not a single content creator who isn't completely insane and or narcissistic. Whether we are talking Twitch, TikTok, or YouTube, they are all insane, horrible, immoral people. And it's so terrible how I'm the only one that's transparent about the screws that are loose in my head. But at least they are benevolent screws being used for society's good. I'm your friendly neighborhood foreigner, and if you like this video, great. If you want to support the channel, then check out this sponsorship that's going to be coming in a few seconds. Thank you for watching, and here we go. CannabisLight.se, the finest quality CBD products in Northern Europe. EU-regulated, non-psychoactive hemp oil, as well as buds and muscle recovery cream for the athletes. No THC, 100% legal, and you get 15% off on all products if you use the code ARIBLATTE. I personally endorse this company due to the high quality of their products. I know the people involved, they're very serious, very knowledgeable, and they know what they're doing. Make this your regular CBD provider, and you'll know what you're doing as well.